Well, good morning, everyone. So this is our first time together for a vlog. I'm sure, having no idea what I'm getting into and what I'm doing, I'm sure the format of this is going to change quite a bit as time goes on. But I wanted to just have some time every morning to kind of just share some thoughts or inspiration or read a poem or whatnot, whatever comes to mind, really, frankly. So today I was just opening up a book of Hafiz. As you know, I like the poetry of Hafiz. This particular book is called The Gift by Hafiz, and the very first poem in here, it's not actually even given a page by itself. It's just a single line poem, but I really liked it. It had a lot of things in it that really inspired me. Hafiz says, "I am a hole in a flute that the Christ breathes through. Listen to this music." I was touched by this idea, or this poem, because it's so short and it contains so many things in it that really appeal to me. One is this notion that Hafiz, who was a Sufi mystic, would be referencing Christ as his ideal in this particular poem, and making it the breath of Christ that's being blown through the flute that manifests the beauty of the flute. And when Thakur Ramakrishna was asked who he was, he's held to be an avatar by many, or an incarnation of God. And when he was asked who he was, he described himself as a hole also, not in a flute, but he said, "I am a hole through which God can be seen." And this idea of having a hole as an ideal on the surface is quite humorous to me, but certainly in follow-up thinking, it's quite lovely, quite beautiful to imagine yourself being completely, what would be the word? To be completely devoid of ego, of self-concern, within a healthy limit, of course. But that idea of simply getting out of the way so that the light of love can shine through you and motivate you and change the world around you is such a beautiful ideal, that it is that image of God that's within you that makes you worthwhile, that makes you beautiful. And the more that we can get rid of the personality aspect, the aspect that wants to be the doer, the aspect that wants to be respected, the aspect that wants to be honored, the self that wants to be fed and be constantly pampered, to get that's always serving the needs of the body and the mind, to get that self out of the way so that image of the beloved, that image of God, can shine through and can manifest in us as the music that we're intended to make, that, as it were, according to this poem, that we are a flute, that this body is an instrument of music, and that a life should be a song, and the theme of that song is always going to be love, because love is what you are, love is who you are. And when you are completely devoid of ego, love is what manifests through you. Finally and truthfully, that love becomes unconditioned and becomes real. So this idea that I am a hole in a flute, that the Christ's breath moves through, listen to this music. Listen to this music. And even as the flute, even as the person who's gotten the self out of the way, you're listening to the music of the flute. It's quite a magic secret to life, to know that life is carrying on as it does, that it only has a value because of the image of love that is within you, and the things in life that you touch with love are the things that become important, the things that are imbued with meaning, and that nothing outside, if there is an outside to ourselves, nothing out there has an inherent reality. It's all a projection of our mind, because we've never left our mind. We've sat in our mind or sat behind our mind watching it for our entire life. And to understand the difference between yourself and the body, to know and understand the difference between yourself and the mind, will set you so free from so many of the bondages that are involved in that, so many of the things that offend us and so many of the things that hurt us. so many of the things that just get in the way, really, of being the person we've always wanted to be the ideal person. You know, I tell people when they want to know who is that ideal person, do you want to know what your ideal is? Well, the easiest way to know what your ideal is to write your obituary. as sad and depressing as that sounds, to write your obituary, to write down the things that you want to be remembered for, to write down the impact that you wanted to have on the world. And you'll find that really most of the tenets of any religion will be included in your own what is that word? I just used it. Writing your own death announcement, obituary, there it is, that's the word. In writing that obituary, you will probably, quite naturally, put in most of the tenets that most of the religions of the world would want to say to you. You know, that he was very loving, he was such a caring person, he always thought of others, he was always present with people, he was so generous with what he had, he was so caring and looking for other people's needs, he was a good friend, he was a great listener. You know, all of these things, perhaps maybe that's only my obituary. But maybe you'd want to write your own obituary in the comments below. How cheery would that be for our first video? Anyway, it's full of ideals, and really religion and life are one and the same. They're not separate, and they shouldn't be separate. Practice and living, spiritual practice and living are one and the same. They also should not be different. You know, that task of ours to align that integrity of what we are, meaning what we say, what we do, and what we think are one. And to have that alignment lead as a conduit directly to the feet of the Beloved, so that his breath plays its song through our heart, through our life, through our body, through our mind, and consequently through our actions, through the things that we say and do in a day. So today, that's our thought for the morning. Be that flute, be that hole in the flute, and allow Ramakrishna, Buddha, Thakur, Jesus, whoever is your highest ideal, allow the breath of the Master to play your life today, to make it a beautiful song. Live consciously, live cleanly, live purely, live with an eye for others, especially in this time. May it be well with all of us. May the blessings of our life be rich to everyone around us. And this is the conclusion of our first day on our, our coronavirus vlog. May it be a great one. Please be sure to make it so.